Hi, I'm Becky. I'm part of the BRBC family. I'm married to Simon and I have Amelie, my 6-year-old, and Jude, our 9-month-old. So I'm originally from Nottingham but have moved around quite a bit, but have spent a long time in Bury St Edmunds where my family are. I moved around a bit going to Bible college and came back about 5 years ago with Simon and Amelie. It took quite a few years before we had Amelie, not by choice, and she's a modern day miracle baby who has blessed our family through her feistiness and joy for life. After having Amelie, we longed to have another child, but we didn't believe that that would be possible. Years went by and we got to a point where we were comfortable with the fact that we wouldn't have any more birth children, and God decided that things would go a different way to how we had intended, and we were overjoyed with some positive news of a pregnancy, but that wasn't to be, and we went through a period of loss and sadness and a lot of confusion, not knowing where God was taking that part of our journey. And at that point, going to church became the most painful place to be, and day-to-day life felt a little bit like carrying an elephant up a mountain. So that time during church, I did take some considerable time away, but when I came back, because I knew that it was important to be there as a family, and I still believed, although I couldn't understand, and I felt cross and sad and confused with God, I still came, but to be able to sing the songs and to listen without feeling just cross was really difficult, and it took time, a long time, to feel comfortable to be able to sing praise and to understand that that was a way forward, and I needed to move forward. But it felt a little bit like I was treading water at that time. So then we had the excitement a few months later that I was pregnant again, and although we had an early scare, actually this one stuck. So we carried on. We had an amazing 12-week scan. Our baby was wriggly and big and just looked perfect. And then we got to our 20-week scan, and we went in feeling a little bit nervous, as I think any pregnant woman does. And that's where everything changed, when at the end of the scan, after saying how perfect our baby looked, they said that they needed to speak to their colleague. And I think anyone in that situation knows that they are not words you want to hear at the end of your scan. And a midwife came through and she listed all the potential problems that our baby could have. Obviously this was a huge bombshell, and that pure elation felt like it was completely shattered, and the future looked foggy and painful again, and we felt a little bit like, wow, God, you've given us this blessing. Oh, and now you're almost twisting it, and it didn't feel so perfect anymore, and felt pretty mad with God, to be honest, and confused. And we also had that horrible thing of having to go outside and tell our 5-year-old that her baby brother or sister might not be as she had imagined, or how any of us had imagined, and that our futures might pan out quite differently. We were referred to Adam Brooks, to fetal medicine, and we were kind of just sent and left to it until we heard from them. We were planning to go up to Sheffield that weekend, and we managed to drag our kind of exhausted and tired selves up. And it was when we were up there that we went to my favourite place in all the world, and that's Kerber Edge in Derbyshire, that overlooks Hope Valley. It's a place that I spent many years studying at Bible college, and it's a place that I have spent many years standing on the top, overlooking the most beautiful valley and praying to God. I have been there and sung worship and rejoiced. I've been there going, where do I go now, God? And I have been there with sadness, and it was there that I stood, and kind of screamed out to God, why, what are you doing, what's happening with our future, where are we going, and you know, who's this baby going to be? I'm not strong enough. I can't do this. And it was shouting it over a place called Hope Valley that felt so, it felt like it was a fighting thing, because there's this place called Hope Valley and you should be able to stand there and feel full of security for the future. But I stood there feeling anything but hopeful and feeling really unsure about what all of this meant and where it was going. I remember sitting in the waiting room reading through the paperwork that told us all the risks that were involved with this procedure to our unborn baby, bearing in mind by this point I had a belly and I could feel this baby squirming inside me. And it was incredible, because our consultant said, what would you do if there was anything wrong with your child? And we said, well, nothing. We believe that this baby's a miracle. A couple of weeks passed and we were sent to the hospital to be induced. And what shocked me most was from the moment we got there, they said, are you aware of your baby's care plan? And that's not something that gets said to most babies. It didn't happen with Amelie. And it was a real reminder and a grounding that we were about to find out exactly what this miracle would look like. Would our baby be born with numerous genetic problems, or would our baby be okay? So it was quite an intense, nerve-wracking couple of days waiting for the arrival, and eventually he made quite a spectacular arrival, and our beautiful baby Jude Ezra was born, and he was handed to the paediatrician, who took one look at him and said, why are you giving him to me? Give him back to his mother, this baby's perfect. And yeah, after lots of tests, a few months ago we were given the all clear. I mean, they do keep looking at his enormous head, but he is hitting his milestones, and he is a joyful, smiling boy who reminds us of God's faithfulness, and that even when things feel raw and tough and you don't have the words, that God is listening and that he has a plan greater than anything we can imagine. And we look forward to seeing what God will do through Jude in the future. I guess for me, when I have been in those dark places, when I've been in the valley, when it's felt raw and I've wanted to scream and shout at God, the most amazing thing is that he is bigger than our emotions. He is greater than our anger, and he knows the words where our silence falls. But there is a future, and there is a hope, and there is a light, and God is with us in the valley, and he's with us on the peaks and everywhere in between. It's just learning to trust and rest and to be real with him, because God can handle every part of us and all of our emotions. And my word, he has seen me when I've been screaming, and he's seen me when I've been rejoicing.